Hello everybody and welcome back. I am Carex, so we're going to be continuing on as France in this Europa Universalis 4 beginner tutorial. Basically designed from the, we're trying to thoughtfully do this in such a way that people that are just barely learning the game will be able to build a foundation so that they can play their own game, make their own decisions, and have their own fun, rather than just telling people that they have to do this, this, or this to succeed, which is something I really don't believe in when it comes to this game. I think you have a lot of options and choice to play the game any way you want. It is a sandbox game for sure. It is 1454. We're at war with England still. This war has been going on since 1451, and it's going to go on for another couple of years because we've completely pushed back. We've gotten rid of Portugal. We kicked them out of the war. We made a side deal with them to get them to drop the war. We now have taken all of the English land on mainland Europe, and England is threatening us with their navies, but not much else. They don't really have much of an army left, to be honest, although they are trying to train up more troops, it seems. What we're going to try to do is hold out a little bit so that we can rob their treasury a bit. They're willing to give us 500 ducats, but the thing is we have to wait a little bit for the war score to come up a bit in order to get more extracted out of England. So we're just going to kind of hang out here in this state. We're building a bunch of temples right now to increase our economy, our taxation. We are very kind of interested as what's going on with Provence, as they're getting completely ravaged over here, and kind of what's going on with Provence, and likewise what's going on with the Pope. 1454 is 10 years. We're a decade into the game, basically, or 10 years since the start of the game. We actually can start to think about integrating some of our subjects at this point. Annex vassal. We can do this. We can do this now. We can start annexing our subjects if we so choose. It's going to cost us a lot of diplomatic power. One of the, again, we get technologies with these, but also we're noticing that we'll have to pay diplomatic power in order to integrate, to centralize France and to integrate these provinces into our own country, which is something we are definitely going to want to do slowly and surely over time. And we just need to these guys just need to be really buttered up with us. They need to be really, really happy with us in order to want to do that, it seems. So they're not happy enough to let us start this. And it is an overtime thing. It's not instantly. You don't just pay 400 points and get it. It's like a slow burn over time. That's for Orleans. Some of these other guys probably cost a lot less. This would only cost 80 diplomatic points to integrate them. Although I kind of like these guys because they have that mountain fort. I kind of like that a little bit. So we can start to think about integrating some of these various subjects that we have and just cleaning that up a little bit and sort of centralizing the state a bit. That could be definitely something that we'll want to start working at. However, there's ideas and stuff. There's actually technological ideas that are focused on influence ideas, are actually focused on subject interactions and make it cheaper to integrate subjects. So that could actually save us diplomatic points if we wanted to sort of take one of those idea groups first, which is kind of interesting. And also, honestly, these subjects aren't half bad, you know? They're contributing troops, they're contributing manpower, they're paying us, which is great. But we'd certainly be making more money. We wouldn't have as large of an army if we wouldn't get as much manpower from these guys as if we took over their land directly, but we would be getting more in economy and taxation and production. So it's kind of a choice there. Let them hang out and, you know, do their thing, and or take control, take a little bit more direct control. Actually, I'm kind of curious, how's the Renaissance spreading over here? It's taking its sweet time. We can click. So this is where it spawned. It spawned here. This is the only place in the world that has fully embraced the Renaissance. But it's going to be spreading all throughout Italy very quickly. And it'll be spreading adjacent to where the birthplace of it as well. If we click on this province next door, which is getting closer and closer and closer to France, and I click on this thing down here, which is like the institution symbol. It's the symbol down here to go to the institution map mode. It's the symbol to go into the institution tab in the technology screen. It's the symbol to open up the, you know, like the buildings. You can open up the building things here. We can open up the institution. I can see it's spreading by 0.2 per month. That's pretty lousy. That's pretty bad. 0.04 per month. In Paris, it's spreading by 0.2 per month. Here it's spreading by 0.7 per month, 0.8 per month. Probably because these are Italian states. I don't think this counts as Italy up here. This, well, Savoy is part of Italy. Maybe it does. Does this count as Italy? Well, we can figure that out. We go to geography. We go to regions. No, counts as France. Counts as France. So I think Italy's getting a boost. I think it spreads faster in Italy. Is what's going on there. So it's going to take a little bit for it to actually get over here, but it will get over here eventually. There is ways that we could actually speed things up a little bit, but I think France is close enough to Italy and close enough to the HRE that we shouldn't have to do anything crazy. We shouldn't have to bend over backwards for that. To be completely honest, guys, at this point, we're kind of just chilling right now. In this war, I could even mothball some of these fortifications, knowing that England can't contest us right now. England might try to land troops on us. Where are their transports? Their transports are down here. Don't know what they're doing down there, but they're down there. Who's the aggressor in this war, actually? A Papal State versus Provence. Naples was the aggressor. Ooh, this is not good. King's reputation is tarnished. Some sort of propaganda text is circulating in the court about Charles VII is a ruthless powermonger. This might impact our relationship with our subjects in other countries. So we either take a diplomatic power hit, or we lose a stability. We haven't talked about stability. Stability is a bad thing. We don't want to lose stability. Although I'm kind of curious, what would it cost us to get a stability? You know what? What the heck? Let's get a stability, because who doesn't like being stable? You really want to keep this above 0. 0 is fine. 0 is neutral. You don't want this to be negative. You don't want this to be negative. And you can get more favorable events and things like that if it's positive. So there's intrinsic benefits to being at high stability that's working and processing in the background. Otherwise, you just get a bunch of stuff. Lower national unrest, a higher taxation, better missionary strength, yearly corruption reduction, institution spread bonuses, all kinds of good stuff there. We've learned about institution spread a little bit, just conceptually. We know corruption sounds like a bad thing, so getting rid of it sounds like a good thing. But it costs more. Every stability point you have, it costs more to get the next stability point. So you can't just scream up to stability cost 3 very easily, but you're definitely looking for events that will help you bolster your stability for free. That's a really, really good thing. I'm actually just going to take the hit on the diplomatic power. It's kind of a bummer. We do need diplomatic power. We really, really, really do. We really, really do, but I think we're going to survive. I think we'll be okay. And quite honestly, guys, we're on speed 3. We're kind of just cruising right now. We're winning this war. We're looking around. We're just kind of thinking, what's going on, you know? What's going on? All right, Mantua. What would happen, just hypothetically, if we were to go in and attack? Interesting. Castile might help us in a war against Burgundy. That's very interesting. Wow, that is interesting. Wait, Duke Charles. No legal heir. We have a new pope. Hopefully this one doesn't hate us. Although I think it's too late, unfortunately. Most of Christendom does not like us because we got excommunicated. That was a huge... That's not going to happen in your game more likely than not if you're playing France. Florence, who are you at war with? You want military access? Albania and Naples. Why are you asking us for military access, Florence? Who's attacking who in this situation? Attacker against Naples. Wow. Florence is actually going for Naples, like the capital of Naples here. That's an... Wait, what? Wait a second, what is the war about? I'm going into Naples' diplomacy screen. I'm noticing they're in 2 different wars, and I'm just reading what it's all about. Oh, Aragon's going to claim the throne. They want to unify the two countries together. Wait, did I misread this? Oh, they're part of it with Aragon. Oh, so Aragon, this is all Aragon's doing. They're joining in with Aragon. Sure, whatever. Actually, that would be kind of a good thing, to be honest, if Aragon successfully accomplished that war quickly, but I don't think it would ever happen quickly enough. but then they would adopt the war against the Pope if they swoop in and grab Naples as a subject. Then they would be thrusted into a war against the Pope, and that would be kind of an interesting stalemate situation there. The Papal State already hates us, so we might as well hit that bottom one. Yeah, we're not getting any papal points per because it's just we're excommunicated. Usually if you're getting these, usually you'll be getting these papal influences, and you can go to the papacy here, and you can buy different benefits, like, oh, there's stability, right? So you can buy all these really good things here, or even try to become the Curia controller. Become the head of the Curia. But unfortunately, like, we have cardinals, but there's no chance that we could become the Curia controller because we have no papal influence. So we're just losing too much of that. Kind of a bummer. Getting excommunicated really does throw a wrench in things, especially because France is such a good Christian nation, Catholic nation. Come on, Pope. A banner just popped up here. You can now enact a government reform. Actually, let's go through our banners really quick. We're at war. Cool. We know that. Ports are being blockaded. Cool. That's part of being at war. We know that. Truce will expire with Portugal and Provence. We have truces with Portugal and Provence. Okay. Actually, knowing that we're going to be have our truce is going to end with Provence, we should probably get a spy network going against Provence and start building up claims against Provence. That could be really, really good. Although I think we're going to get free claims against Provence. I don't know. Let's do it anyways. We were maybe going to attack Provence since they're so weak and just getting battered left, right, and center. Holy cow. The Pope took a big chunk of land over here. And they cut us off from taking some of the Provence land down here. That's not good. We wanted this for ourselves. You know, what the heck? We might have to attack the Pope. We might legitimately have to just go at the Pope. Only allied to Switzerland? You know what? Let's have our other diplomat working on the Pope. Let's just plan to beat up the Pope or something. So our truces are going to expire. That's fine. Yeah, we know we have truces. No worries. Disputed successions. Yeah, we're not really worried in playing that game right now. You have uncontested claims that will expire. Okay, let's just say that we have claims, right? We've fabricated claims. We actually have a claim already against the Pope down here. We already have claims against the Pope down there. So maybe we don't need to do this. We can just attack them as is. In fact, I don't think we have a truce with them or anything. No, we could just attack the Pope. In fact, would Switzerland really even care to join this? They almost wouldn't, to be honest. Attitude towards enemy. They have war exhaustion. They're in a war right now against Naples still. This would be a pretty easy, clean war to just go beat up the Pope a little bit and take this province from the Pope. Which is kind of interesting. Really doing an alternate thing here. Then we have uncontested. It's just warning us that we have causes for war. We can attack the Pope if we want. But here we actually says we have a government reform. We click on this. This is this button here. You can see the symbols match, right? Crown with a little arrow there. It's really hard to see, honestly, some of this stuff. You can scale up the UI, I think, or play at different resolutions and stuff. That might help while learning and stuff. I just kind of know where all this stuff is, right? So on tier 1, we already have tier 1. So we get to enhance our government. And this, we haven't even talked about any of this. How does this go up? Well, it's going up at 0.83 a month. The more centralized our government is, the smaller our government is, the faster we can reform our government. So the bigger and more bloated we are, the slower this will go up. But at the beginning of the game, it tends to go up pretty quickly. Right now, we have something called the feudal nobility. Plus 25% income from vassals. That's pretty good. We have so many vassals. And plus 5 nobility influence. Autocracy, though, would give us minus 10% unjustified demands. An unjustified demand is essentially if we were going to go to England and say, I want this. Like, we have no justification to take Cornwall in this war, right? No justification for this at all. So it's going to cost us more to take this. It's going to cost us diplomatic power. It's going to cost us more war score. And then just having the reduced unjustified demands basically just means you can just scoop up land that you're not justified in taking more easily. The truth is that's kind of a weak stat, I think, in my opinion. Usually you'll have justified demands. Usually you'll be justified in what you're taking rather than unjustified, just because it's just so much more efficient that way. But down here, we're trying to pick a tier 2 one. We can change these if we want, but we're going to pick a tier 2 one right now. As we filled up this bar, we get to do a tier 2, then we'll work on the tier 3 by filling up the bar again. So we can strengthen the noble privileges, increase national manpower modifier by plus 15%. Manpower is very, very important. In difficult wars against England, Burgundy, Austria, Aragon, they can really chew through your manpower, but France is so powerful, maybe we don't care. Over here, we get national tax modifier plus 10% and minus 10% nobility influence. So if we need to curtail the nobility, that could be a good thing. However, to be fair, we're actually kind of benefiting right now from the extra nobility influence. But if we were to add more privileges, they would start to get too powerful. I think 80% is when things start to get a little rocky. If they get to 100%, that's when they try to take over the country. So this is the nobility influence it's talking about. We could reduce this by 10%, which would potentially weaken some of these modifiers here, which are quite good. Right now we're getting 20% extra manpower recovery speed and minus 10% land maintenance modifier. We're paying our troops less. They're just so grateful to be in the army, they'll take less pay. Let's actually curtail the noble privileges. And that'll give us more taxation, which I think will be good. That'll reduce this by 10%. We'll have to see. In a month, it might update next month. You know, we need to get the bourgeoisie to be a little bit happier, to be fair. Oh, wait, why can't we? Oh, we can't do this because we're at war. Oh, okay. Actually, there's something we didn't do. We didn't summon the diet, however we say that. We didn't summon. I always call it the diet. Everyone tells me that's wrong. That's fine. I'll keep saying that wrong. But we didn't summon the diet. I'll say diet. I'll say diet, and we'll just assume that's maybe more accurate if diet is wrong. So this is an agenda. This is actually a goal that we can get to help boost the influence of the estates. Yeah, you can see that we dropped the influence below 60%, so the things here are a little bit weaker. But because we dropped their influence, we could maybe give them new privileges or something, potentially. Oh, we could give them aristocratic counselors. This would give them 10% more influence, more happiness as well, equilibrium, loyalty equilibrium. It makes, oh, that's right. Wait a second, this will make, oh no. We forgot to do that for all the estates. We forgot to go back and do this, right? We want to make our advisors cheaper advisors for the win. We want all of our advisors to be cheaper. This will save us an insane amount of money. To be fair, I'm glad we did that because we just boosted up our stability before doing that. That's the cost of this privilege, is it makes it so it's more expensive to boost stability. So the fact that we actually just boosted our stability up here, guys, by the way, I didn't even tell you about the stability and expansion tab, right? But this is where you boost your stability here. And stability is just all around fantastic. But it is very expensive to boost up because these monarch points are so precious. So precious. England's at low enthusiasm. They're never going to let us take Cornwall. Actually, I'm kind of curious, actually. Because we're not demanding local forts. You know, the funny thing is, there is a world in which we can, this is a little bit cheesy, okay? But it is a very, 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 very good strategy to take this province when you're fighting England. England has a single province on Ireland that's not protected by any of their forts. Usually you can't, we can't take Cornwall because we have no forts in this area. That, we don't control these two forts. This province, because it's on literally a different body, like a land mass, we can actually take this province. We can take this province, just wink. And this actually gets us a foothold in the British Isles. And that is insanely powerful as France. Because if we own this province, we can assemble our troops here before the war even starts and actually just march into England. Because there's a strait here. There's a strait here in between Ireland and Scotland. Through the Irish Sea. And we can actually move through here and actually come down on them from the north. Oh man, I hate to say it, but this is so insanely powerful taking this province. We might have to go for that. Holy cow, they're still willing to pay us a bunch. I don't, guys, it's so cheesy, but I think we have to take Pale. We have to take this province. That'll give us a little bit of French land up in the Irish Isles, and yeah, that'll give us a bouncing off point. Actually, would it let us take Man? Oh, Man doesn't help us, right? It would let us take Man, but it doesn't help us because Man is an island, right? There's no straight to Man, the Isle of Man. So that actually would not help us at all. Yeah, we're basically just kind of chilling right now, guys. We could go to speed. Oh, Provence wants military access. Why? We'll give it to well, I'm not going to give it to Provence. Yeah, because we don't want to bind ourselves if we're going to be attacking Provence soon. We are going to be attacking Provence soon, unfortunately for them. Let's take a look at our missions really quick. We're going to be reconquering Normandy and reconquering Gascony. So that's going to give us permanent claims on Provence. And that's going to give us permanent claims on Provence. This will give us permanent claims on the Brittany area. So that's going to actually really have us going into Brittany, and that's going to have us going over to here. So actually, we're going to be attacking Brittany here soon, and we're going to have a justification for attacking the Pope. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Level 2 Spy Master. How cheap is this guy? So we're getting this guy from the events. He's a half-cost Spy Master. He's level 2, so we can get more diplomatic power from him. I think we want this guy. I think we want a level 2. He's actually, interestingly enough, he's of the Jewish faith. It's kind of cool. That's kind of neat. Still running a profit with that extra, slightly more expensive. We could run war taxes. War taxes, we can spend military power in order to reduce land maintenance modifier, which if I turn this on, let's wait till next month. You'll see it's quite a lot of money to reduce these values by 15 to 20%. Hey, we're making 3 ducats a month now instead of 1, right? Pretty good. But the thing is, these military points are too precious. They're too precious. We really need to be focused on the military technologies. We get new kinds of infantrymen. We get more shock damage and a bunch of other things with the next standardized pikes technology. So that's going to be something we're going to want to do before these institution penalties get too out of control. So we're building up on Provence. I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to say, you know what? Is this a fort? Or is this one's the fort? This one's not the fort. I'm gonna put a claim on this one. Burgundy's gonna have control of that province in a second. Wait, cancel this. Yeah. Confirm, cancel. See, they've added some new things. Clearly, some of these messages, like some of these UI changes are new with this 1.31 patch, and I'm liking them. There's some good things. That naval invasion one is amazing too. I just wish it worked properly. They'll probably patch it to work a little bit more logically. It gave us a warning when they were landing here, but it didn't give us a warning when they were landing here, which is a little backwards to me. We do need to be buttering up nations that we might be integrating. Do we want to integrate the weaker ones, or do we want to integrate the stronger ones is the question. I think we would prefer to integrate the strongest ones. The biggest, bulkiest ones. Because the smallest ones are sort of for the weight of this guy. Look at this. This is 10 development, 1 province. He's a mountain fort, which is really good. We already saw how beneficial this province was, having this be a capital fort. If we integrate this guy, it's no longer a capital, right? This country's gone. It's just part of France. It's just a regular province with no fortification on it. We could build one. We could build castles on it if we wanted to. But this guy right here, he's giving us 3,000 troops and 10 development. Whereas if we look at like Orleans has 5,000 troops, but this is 4 provinces. There's like a total of like a bajillion development here. There's like 50 development there. So the proportionality of his contribution militarily is different. There's a base value of troops that any nation can bear that makes it so that like tiny nations can have disproportionately larger armies. So I think we want to keep these smaller guys around, and we'll start integrating these bigger ones. Armagnac, this is one we could start integrating as well, potentially. How much would it cost to integrate you? Only 240? Yeah, maybe we try to butter you up And do you... I don't know. It kind of doesn't matter who we do first here. Orleans will be a good one to integrate first, I think. We have a free diplomat. We could declare war while at war, and we could have multiple wars going. But I think we're totally satisfied and just kind of hanging out for a second. I would like to attack the Papal States before they get a little more stabilized. I think there's honestly an argument to attack Burgundy, to be completely honest with you. We have a vastly overwhelming force. I think if we could get Castile to help us with this, if Castile would help us against Burgundy, we might just have to do this and take advantage of this and just go for it. The thing to consider, though, is conquer Provence, West Burgundy. We get the free claims on Burgundy. We have missions to take over Burgundy if we first take over Provence. What's the actual mission here? All provinces in the Provence region. So we'd have to own this province and these provinces. Oof. That could take a while. Burgundy just got a lot stronger there. The war against Provence and Burgundy is over. We could easily scoop these up. We could attack the Pope and get those. I don't know. That could be just such an easy and clean war. Let's maybe that's our goal. Maybe our goal is to scoop up Provence in this province, which is part of Provence. It's a different region, but it's part of the Provence nation. Scoop this up. Obviously take the stuff from England so that we can get the missions for those areas. Fight the Pope, take those 3 provinces, then call in Castile against Burgundy and take a big chunk of Burgundy. I think that might be our goal. Burgundy has no legal heir, which is really, really interesting. And if their leader dies while at war, I believe we'll inherit some of their lands, which is kind of cool. We actually have the ability to get this military technology. I think we want to get that before the price goes up too high. This allows us to get a new kind of infantry unit, the men-at-arms. Any of these are equivalent, basically. Just when you get a new infantry thing, it'll pop up here as you have a new unit. Click one, just open this. We could do longbow. You could click any of these. It's very minute differences. If you're an expert at the game, you can dig into the differences there. But for the most part, yeah. I think it is time to get out of the war with England. They are willing to pay us nearly 700 gold to give us back all the land that we are justly owed. So let's look at this. We've clicked on all the land that is rightfully ours. This was the war. The point of the war was to reconquer the French lands. We are aggressively taking this unjustifiably. Okay? Altogether, this creates a certain amount of aggressive expansion. We're expanding our country somewhat aggressively. And in this case, we're going to get 29 aggressive expansion. The magic number here is 50. It's very important to hover over this number and to make sure it tells you, it'll warn you here if nations are going to be upset about the amount that you're accumulating. Okay? It'll warn you here and say certain countries are likely to join a coalition against you. If we were, let's say, let's redo this. Let's say, hey, let's just go for London. Let's take all this. Now, they won't accept this for other reasons, but look at this aggressive expansion. 100 aggressive expansion, there would be tons of countries willing to join a coalition against us. Tons. Burgundy, Scotland. Like, this is literally 10 to 20 countries, 20, 30 countries joining a unified coalition against us that would basically mount an attack against us to break apart our country and to give back the land. So we again, that's because it's over 50. It's over 50. If we go down to like, something like this, 43, pretty aggressive, but not enough to get anybody angry. As soon as we take that one, go over 61. Now England's like, okay, I'd join a coalition against you. Problem is, England, you can't really have a coalition of one, man. You can't really have a coalition of one. Basically, what you're looking to avoid is 3 to 4 nations. I believe it's 3. 3 nations to make a coalition against someone. So as long as there aren't 3 eligible nations to form the coalition against you, you should be perfectly fine. So it's okay to anger some people. Like, England's going to get pissed about this. That's just how it goes. That's just how it goes. No one really cares about England. But in this case, we're going to be well under the 50 at 29, which is totally fine. This decays over time slowly. So this 29 goes away. If we go to war against Provence and accumulate 50 there, well, that's going to be 50 on top of the 29. Unless we give it enough time to breathe. It has to breathe off. It has to decay off. We're also going to be paying a little bit of diplomatic power for this land specifically because this is unjustified. The war, hey, wait a second, the war was just to take reconquest of French lands. This was never French. So by saying, hey, England, you also have to give us this for our trouble, that's going to cost us some diplomatic power, basically. We have to compensate for the fact this was unjustified. We're going to get 22 prestige, and England will lose a lot of prestige just for winning the war. Prestige just gives us tons of stuff. It makes our soldiers proud. It gives them more morale and all kinds of amazing benefits. Just higher prestige, just being a more prestigious nation gives us advantages in diplomacy and aggression and war and all kinds of things. We're going to be 8% overextended. Now, usually this would be a much higher number. However, these lands will not overextend us because these are French lands. This is not a French land. There's going to be a administrative period where we're going to have to integrate this province into our country. So this is a level of overextension, and the number here that we're worried about is 100%. We do not want to be over 100% overextended. Very terrible things can happen if we're over 100%. 8% is totally fine. I'll show you guys where to check on all this stuff once we finish the war deal. And it's telling us, hey, it's going to cost us 42 administrative power to core this province, to get rid of this overextension. You can see here that this province is actually the problematic province. If we get rid of that province, it's only 20 aggressive expansion. It's no diplomatic power. It's no administrative power. And it's no aggressive overextension. But if we take this, all of a sudden we have an unjustified land that is not French territory, and that's fine in wars. That's the point of war, is to take land that isn't always justified and isn't always French. If we just wanted French land, we'd have to quit now, But eventually, maybe we do want to take London for ourselves. Why not, right? Why not? So it's going to cost us 42 to integrate this province into our country. That isn't paid when we hit send demand. That's paid in a different tab, and I'll show you guys that here in a second. Let us send the demand. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to do this in the next episode. I'm going to explain it really quick at the beginning of the next episode because this one's running a little bit long, just to make sure that that the peace deal creation and everything is well explained, because this is kind of important to be able to know how to make a peace deal. Guys, thanks everybody for being here. In the next episode, we'll finish our war with England and immediately start a war, probably very aggressively, against Provence and or against the Papal State. And start to try to complete some of our missions and work towards other missions and stuff like that. Thanks everybody for being here. If you guys have questions, please ask down in the comments. I will answer 100% of the questions that are asked, and I'll probably respond to all the other comments too, which I usually do. So thanks everybody for being here. Really appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next episode.